Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. I am Fenisa Indira from 2C. In this video, I'm going to give a presentation about the novel by Andrew Garve. The title is No Mess for Murder. So, without any further ado, let's start. First is the setting. The story took place in a country named the Colony of Fontego. Andrew Garve, the author, explained that Colony of Fontego was a fictional place. The purpose was to avoid any wrong conclusions. There were three main regions in the story. First, Fontego City, which was the capital city where all the characters lived in modernity. Second, Takri, an island located across the colony of Fontego where the leprosarium was located. Last, Fontenoy, a village where all the inhabitants' health conditions were very poor. Next is the main characters. There were four main characters in the story. First, Dr. West, a young leprosy specialist who was sent to Takri to maintain the leprosarium. Second, Dr. Garland, a doctor and the Secretary of Health Department in Fontego. Third, Susan, the colonial secretary daughter who loved to speak up about the equalities between white and black people. Last, Celeste. She was Dr. Garland's wife who loved money and luxury things very much. Next is the additional characters, and there were three of them. First, Du Bois, a black man worked as Dr. Garland's assistant. Second, Johnson Johnson, another black man worked as Dr. Garland's gardener. Last, Mr. Anstruder, the colonial secretary and Susan's father. Now, let's move on to the storyline. The story began with the arrival of Dr. West in Takri to maintain the leprosarium and to look after the lepers. The problem was the leprosarium was in really bad condition, with not enough space and no privacy for the patients. It also lacked of nurses with limited health facilities. Then Dr. West went to Dr. Garland's office to argue about moving the leprosarium from Takri to Fontego. Dr. Garland disagreed and said that Takri was the best place for the lepers, so they wouldn't run away and to avoid the contagion. Then his assistant, Du Bois, knew that Dr. Garland received a bribe to change Fontego into housing estate instead of moving the leprosarium from Takri to Fontego. The conflict started when Dr. Garland killed Du Bois by stabbing him right into his heart during fiesta at the Blue Pool. He took the advantage of the party which was held at the time, so everyone was busy partying, loud music was played, and all the guests were required to wear a mask, so no one would recognize him. He thought his murder was perfectly covered. But then, a woman's eyes were fixed on him. She was the witness of his murder. He kept thinking about the woman. She was familiar to him. One thing he remembered very well was she wore a white scarf. Then, Susan and Dr. West told him that they were also went to the Blue Pool, but they didn't get inside. Dr. Garland got suspicious on Susan. He kept asking and being curious on her, which also made Susan got suspicious on him. Then, Dr. Garland tried to kill her, to make her shut up, but at last, he didn't. When he swung the cutlass, Susan lifted her hand to cover her face. Her hand was bandaged. He remembered the woman's hand was smooth and golden. It turned out that the woman wasn't Susan, and everyone got suspicious on Dr. Garland after Susan told everyone what he did to her. In the end, Dr. Garland and his wife, Celeste, on their way trying to run away to Singapore, where he thought he had the rest of the money saved from the bribe, and it turned out that the woman at the blue pool was Celeste. They forced to pass through the under construction bridge even though it was prohibited. It turned out that the bridge hadn't fully repaired, and then their car fell into the water and they were drowned to death. After their deaths, it turned out that Dr. Garland got tricked by the contractor. There was no money on his account in Singapore, so all his efforts to make Celeste fully his by gaining extra salary through filthy way and providing her with money and luxury things were such a waste. How tragic. Then Dr. West got married to Susan and happily continued their life trying to build a new leprosarium to reach a better future for the lepers. And that's how the story ends. So I'm going to tell you my opinion about this novel. I think the novel is quite interesting, especially when we talk about the themes of this novel. This novel talks about the diversities between white and black people. And the theme about the management of leprosarium for the lepers, which is kind of rare to find as a novel theme, is interesting to read. My favorite thing from this novel is the way author driven us to have our own truth of the mysterious woman. But in the end, it was such a plot twist I never expected. Apart from that, I really don't like the way author ended the story. The author made Dr. Garland died before he could take the responsibilities of his mistakes and sins towards the victims and black people. It was upsetting. If I were the author, I would change the ending. Instead of that, I would prefer to make Dr. Garland did as he had planned, went to Singapore, and realized that he got tricked. So the ending, Celeste would leave him alone, betrayed him by reporting him to the police. So he went to jail and spent the rest of his life regretting what he had done, to make it more tragic, of course. To a crime and mystery genre fan, I do recommend this novel because the crime, the plot, and the antagonist will blow your mind away with their mysteriousness, which will make you curious even more. Overall, I like the novel. So that's all from me. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.